Hey there, friend. You just unboxed your brand new Bambu Lab P2S. It's fast, it's sleek, but is it ready to go? Today, we're diving into the essential calibration steps and all those important details for your first print. From the clean plate to the vibration compensation, let's make sure your first layer is a perfect layer. Let's get into it.
Okay, so before we even get to the printer, you have to remember that the calibration of the printer is nothing if the first layer of your print doesn't even stick to the build plate. You know, if you lose adhesion, you're going to lose your print every single time. The oils from our hands, they are absolutely the enemy of 3D printing adhesion. So keep in mind that a clean build plate is going to be your best friend to keeping your prints being successful. This is a tiny little, just a layout of what I use. And I'm just going to show you very simply here how I clean and maintain the build plate to get the maximum adhesion rate so that your calibration that you do is going to be, well received in your prints. So I always like to use this Dawn dish detergent. Now, it doesn't have to be apple scented, but you don't want to have any kind of hand softeners or oils or creams or anything in it. Ideally, you've just got plain Dawn, the blue version. I have some in the refill, but this is what we've been using and it actually seems to work fine. I like to use the non-abrasive. This is like the non-stick scrub, and I'm going to walk you through the cleaning here in a minute. Of course, it works very well to use gloves. This way you don't get any oils on the plate while you're washing or once you're done. And then I like to use a clean dish towel every single time, as well as I use these microfiber cloths to scrub it down. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to wash it up, and you can see how it goes. Oh, and I always make sure to use hot water, as hot as I can handle with my hands. Okay, so two things. Clearly, I should have had my dish towel laid out ahead of time, which I normally do. And the other thing is that non-stick scrub, it's not the one you use for your regular dishes. You don't want to have any kind of food residue, cooking oil, or anything like that, because that can actually really impact the outcome. Okay, so you'll see me taking the gloves off now, but I don't touch the build plate. What I actually do is I maintain, at this point, contact with it only through these microfiber cloths. So you'll see I pick it up on the corners, and I'm going to carry it downstairs, and I'll show you how I store them. I've got two separate spots. Give it a really good kind of aggressive buffing, just to make sure that anything that might have been in the surface there is picked up every single time. And then, like I said, I hold it by the microfiber cloth only. And as you can see, that is pristine, it is clean, both sides, ready to go. I'm not going to make any contact with it with my bare hands at all or in the future. Okay, and as you can see, down here at my build station, I've got this little rack that I've got multiple build plates on. And I just store it in here like this. And I've also got one up in the printer. You can see right up in here that I can store them as well, right up in there if you want. So it just depends on what you want to do, how you want to store them. But as long as you're keeping them clean, following the principles, not getting your grubby little hands on them, you're going to have more successful prints, and your calibrations are going to be meaningful, and you're going to get the best possible results.
Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, what is 3D printing calibration, right? It's the process of fine-tuning your printer's hardware and the software settings to ensure that its movements, its temperatures, and the material flow are perfectly accurate for consistent, high-quality results.
Calibrate for lower noise and better print quality. Of course, that's what we want to do. You're going to have a motor noise cancellation, that's 16 minutes, vibration compensation for 4, auto bed leveling, that's 26 minutes. Of course, I'm not going to run that all in the video. We're going to just let it run through and we get an idea. Just, of course, the first few seconds here, and then we'll speed it up through the power of editing, and we'll get back to you when it's done. In the auto bed leveling process now, it says it's going to calibrate the flatness of the heat bed by contacting the nozzle with the heat bed. It can make the extrusion height more uniform, and so for this phase, the heat bed will be calibrated at room temperatures. All right, so now it's working on what it says is motor noise cancellation. It's going to measure the subtle individual differences of each motor for the active noise cancellation algorithm. Man, that's awesome. Okay, so 75%. Now it's going to do vibration compensation. It's going to measure the mechanical resonance model of the printer for vibration compensation. It reduces artifacts caused by acceleration and allows much faster print speeds. Oh wow, yeah, let's go.
3D printing is absolutely all about precision. And on a high-speed machine like the P2S, your calibration is the difference between a masterpiece and a failed print. You should definitely run the full calibration immediately after unboxing and setting it up to sync your sensors to your specific environment. And particularly anytime you relocate that printer, to a new surface, a new workbench or something like that, where the specific subtle little changes in the level of the machine or even like the belt tension can impact your vibration compensation and affect the quality of your prints. It's also vital to run that calibration suite again following every firmware update. We just had a big one here recently, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not working out for them. I ran a full calibration after update. It's running smooth and beautiful. I can't say that's going to be for you every time, but it's definitely not a bad idea to ensure your hardware is aligned with new motor logic, or whenever you perform that hardware maintenance, you're in there cleaning the rods, greasing it up, lubing it up. And anytime you add upgrades like an AMS to lock in those new variables for consistent professional results. Another thing to be really aware of is that the speed factor on this machine, the P2S, it's no joke. It's a fast machine. Now you can turn it down, you can turn it up. It depends on what you're printing and what kind of results you're looking for. And especially if it's sitting on a wobbly desk, your vibration compensation has to work like twice as hard or more, which can definitely quickly diminish your final print quality. The fix for this, it's obvious, it's simple, but it needs to be said. You always want to place your P2S on a solid, heavy-duty surface to ensure maximum stability. You want to keep those high-speed movements locked in, tight, and secure.
Let's look at our print files. Now, I'll probably print most of these along the way, but the first thing I'd like to do here is, of course, we got to print our classic little Benchy. Now, it says right here, bed leveling and flow calibration is in auto mode. Click to learn more, which we already did that. We've got the time lapse selected because I have the USB in the machine, and I'm not going to change anything. We're not going to mess around. We're going to click next. Everything is looking good, so we're just going to go ahead and click print. And get a little bit set up so we can have a more direct view. We'll give an idea. All right, so let's push start, print. Starting the task. There we go. It says it should take about 23 minutes. And let's just get an idea of how the first couple layers go down and make sure everything is working well. Hopefully. I would be lying if I wasn't a little bit nervous. However, with the good reputation of Bambu, I'm sure that the lowly little Benchy will come out okay. It's got some great information on here. It's showing you right now that the tool head, I believe, is at 137 Celsius. The bed temperature is at 55. I think you can click those, to change them, which I'm not going to touch right now. I'm going to leave everything just as default settings are. See what we get out of it. Automatically identifying the build plate type, changing the filament. I love how it tells you what it's doing. This is heating up right now, 245 Celsius, 240, 235, I think that's around its, operating temperature. So I think this is showing you the chamber temperature, and then the build plate and the tool head. Calibrating the dynamic flow. All right, cleaning the nozzle tip. I think we're going to be laying down some filament here relatively shortly. That's vibration compensation. Waiting for the heat bed temperature. All right, so these will be the calibration lines. And we're off to the races. Don't mind my bald head getting in here to make sure the first layer is going down well. Definitely looks like it. I'm no expert by any means. It's all adhering to the bed. So that's a good first step. Wow, I can tell you, this is like blowing my mind. It just feels so intuitive. There's been really no surprises in the process. You know, loading the filament into the AMS was very, very intuitive. Everything seems to just work. You know what I mean? Like, I've watched a bunch of videos and I've seen people have this experience, but to experience it firsthand in real time right now is absolutely breathtaking. And to know that in just a few short minutes I'll be able to hold something in my hand that before we started didn't literally physically exist is beautiful, and I'm glad that I can share it with you. You know, I was expecting maybe to smell something from the printer. I'm standing literally right next to it and it's like there's nothing happening. I do have a little air purifier. See that just over there. It's just running on the very lowest of settings, and of course, you know, I might keep it on a higher setting in the future, but for now, you know, if you're worried about this thing creating a lot of smell, at least with the basic PLA, I know for sure that using more advanced materials can, you know, obviously be toxic and can be something to really take into consideration, but for now I can tell you with comfort and ease that this is really a most pleasant experience, and I'm excited to see it finish. Of course, I'm going to wait, you know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes to make sure that everything's cooled down. I don't want to damage the build plate or, you know, interrupt the structural integrity of the print. It's hot right now, it needs to cool, so keep that in mind. You know, you don't want to rush it. We're building the boat, people. She's coming together nicely. I can see a little tiny bit of stringing on there. Nothing drastic. For how fast it's moving. It's amazing. And I love how you get the progress indicator here. 82%, 83 now, approximately 3 minutes remaining. It's got your operating temperatures there, which you could alter if you needed to. Just by tapping on them, you can pause the print. You can stop it, or you could skip. I think you could skip like a certain component if you have multiple items on the build plate. So it's just a beautiful interface. Everything seems to be just so intuitive. This is my very first day ever using, touching, handling a 3D printer. And look at that. We're building something. I mean, it's building it, but hey, that's the future. You know, speaking of the future, I can see a future where, you know, you go to a store like IKEA and they offer 2 different kinds of packages. You know, you can get the completely built and designed item, maybe some sort of a desk or something, but then they have components of it that if you wanted to print yourself, they'll give you the files and you can save yourself some money. I think this is the kind of technology that's going to become, you know, ubiquitous in every home, or many homes are going to have them. And I think, you know, obviously the early days, the enders, the guys who, you know, blazed the trail, they need to be commended for what they endured. And companies like Bambu and others, you know, who are really pushing the technology, they deserve to be really also commended for bringing this into the 21st century and making it something that somebody, you know, somebody like me who doesn't know what they're doing can pick up and make it work. And I think this is really just the beginning. Ooh, baby. Just like that. Smooth sailing. Definitely pun intended. Our AMS, it's doing its thing. Tracking filament as needed. Just like that. This is 99%. Of course, we just have to let it cool. I am wise enough to know that hot plastic needs to come down to a nice reasonable temperature before I start trying to handle it. Thank you, cute little beepity beep. 24 minutes, 12 grams of filament. Look at that. So report AI problems, quality guide. I'm just going to click OK. Everything seemed to work just fine. Now, let's just open the door, have a little peek and see at what we've made here. Don't touch it yet. I mean, you can if you want, but look at that. Sure looks cute. I'm going to give it a little bit, and then we'll take it off the plate. Hello, little Benchy. Very, very cool. Now, I know after handling this thing, definitely need to wash it. Well, okay, there she is. There's our first little print. Tiny bit of stringing there. Nothing too serious. I mean, I'm not an expert, but this thing looks fantastic to me. That little bit here in the corner. Yeah, you can see. This is, I think, the creator of this bench. I mean, that looks smooth. It's clean. You can read it beautifully. I don't know if there's supposed to be words on the back, but I mean, overall, you tell me what you think in the comments below. These lines look even. The bow, port side, starboard and stern. I am just flabbergasted, blown away. So very, very happy to be part of what feels like a special club. And I'm really looking forward to, making cooler and more practical prints as we go. I make some things for my kids, my family, my friends, my colleagues, everything in between. So let me know what you think, and would love to hear your comments down below.
That was a perfect Benchy on the first try. That's the power of a calibrated P2S. Treat your build plate right, keep your surface steady, and let the tech do the rest. If this helped you get started, hit that like button, and please subscribe to TestZone. I'm Matthew, and I'll catch you in the next one.